Hello and greetings to all. Just got done with the gym, so my hair's a bit disheveled and I'm a little out of order to say the least. Now, as I was working out, I was pretty much reflecting over some adversities that I'm currently dealing with and how despite of how disheartening it could be at times to the point that I can't even get out of bed due to some health issues that I'm currently dealing with. Maybe I could speak about it in another video. I continue to be resilient. Now, one of the main aspects of learning is not only committing stuff to memory, reciting it on and on until it becomes a part of your conscience, but also practicing what you learn, contemplating it even whenever you're off the subject to gain a better understanding of these concepts that you're learning and trying to edify your mind with. Now, in the spirit of what we've been discussing, which is everything related to decolonizing and re-indigenizing, particularly the concept of Huitzilopochtli, that was one of the things that came to mind. Now, the story of Huitzilopochtli, I do encourage you to watch the video. There's 1 and 2, in which I give more information as to the myth of Huitzilopochtli. The tale of Huitzilopochtli is a tale of resilience, is a tale of invincibility. Now, we see this played out every day, with our senses. It could be the darkest night. It could be the most horrible storm that you can go through, depending on where you live at in the world, because there's some areas in the world where the sun might not come out in days and weeks. But even in those situations, the people there have devised their own mythology to kind of enable them to accept life as it is handed out to them particularly. So that's a totally different story. But as far as us here in Texas, yes, a lot of people complain that the weather is horrendous. It's bipolar. It's constantly changing on us. But with these times in the winter comes very unstable weather. Now, for people like myself who have respiratory problems, it is a nightmare. Once October starts popping in and you start getting those cold fronts and everything, I began to flinch, particularly here in North Texas. Now in El Paso, which is my hometown, which is the place that I prefer, the weather's not as adverse, but there are still cold fronts. But a long story short, it's not a very good time for people with respiratory issues, other people with compromised immunities. It's all the same. We see it reflected in the sky. Oftentimes the sun doesn't come out. For people like myself who love the sun, it can be really depressing. There's a whole list of ailments that come. Colds and flus and whatnot are more rampant. And but regardless of how tempestuous our time can be, both cosmologically, both the climate and the weather, or the own weather in our lives, there's always that resilience. Now, I almost brought myself to tears right there while I was working out, because even this morning, I've been recovering from the latest bout of respiratory ailments. And I really didn't want to go to the gym, I'm fine where I can perform at the gym and I can be speaking with you guys right now, even though I'm kind of running out of breath. But it would have been possibly prudent for me to have stayed in bed. But I just don't like that feel of debility, of being, what I'm saying, brought down by the illness. So I went to the gym and I'm doing this and that, and I said, well, I'm performing beyond my expectations because I thought I was going to be able to do this and that and get tired and go home. Well, then I thought of Huitzilopochtli, how, the legion of his brothers and eldest sister are coming toward his mother, who can be symbolic of the earth, of us, of flesh, of susceptibility. Yet, in the middle of that storm is born a warrior to vanquish all of them and cut up the sister in pieces. This is symbolical, of course. We do not celebrate the fact that 400 people were laid to waste, starting with the eldest of the sisters. But these are the defects. These are the things that are constantly coming at us to attack us and to bring us down. And Huitzilopochtli, just like our father's son, is that hope in being able to rise up again and defeat everything that intends to defeat us. And religion didn't teach me this. Christianity, Western spirituality didn't teach me this. On the very contrary, my respects to people who are religious or spiritual. But if anything, religiosity constantly had me feeling bad about myself. Okay, so you had a bad thought, you're a sinner. Okay, you did something bad, you're a sinner, you're going to hell. God is mad at you. God made fire and brimstone rain in Sodom and Gomorrah. God caused the universal flood to get rid of the inequities of this planet. Now, this is not to say that I am now disordinate and sin rampantly and stuff, but there's a different reason for me to remain in good conduct. Not because I'm trying not to anger an angry deity in disguise, or because I'm trying to keep myself from going to hell, but because it is the most propitious thing for us human beings to do. And you're not going to teach me this through fear in hell, which is the approach that has been since these 500 plus years of colonization. You're going to teach me that by illustrating beautifully, as the tales of our ancestors, how goodness is something that benefits us as a human race, as a Mexica race. So, just a quick little thought. I hope that I'm able to convey the message across, as I'm a bit wounded from the gym. My blessings and farewells to all.